Back with Adrian Bohach on this special edition of Biz One-on-One, talking about social enterprise. And Adrian, you've now really devoted your life to social enterprise. You're still involved in the real estate business, your own real estate business. You're still traveling around the world doing your organizational management consulting. But what is it about social enterprise that has you so lit up?
I'm all about impact. I am passionate about impact. I want something to happen. And social enterprise is the only thing to me that actually delivers that. When I look at, like, we work a lot with kids with autism. That's one of the many things that we do. But I'll tell you a story. There's this about 9-year-old boy that is on the autism spectrum, on the savant sort of end of things. Mm-hmm. And he is a child that when you give him a textbook, he could read it in about a couple of hours and then give you the text backwards. So you could say page 22, what was the text? He could tell it to you, regurgitate it to you backwards.
Backwards, reverse order.
Reverse order.
Wow.
But he can't tell a nickel from a dime. He can't tell a nickel from a dime. I have 9 children, and as a parent, one of the aspects of being a parent is you want a future for your children. You want the best for your children. It is difficult for me to imagine a child that has that kind of challenge in their life, and how do you unlock the possibilities of that child? And unfortunately, without a proper kind of system of service, and it could be that wonderful mind, that wonderful boy could grow up to be sitting in some long-term care facility or in a group home, living on public funding, and
because he doesn't fit in, so he can end up institutionalized.
Yeah, very difficult to employ. All the usual stories that prevent people from accessing so-called mainstream life. I'm passionate for that child and for thousands like him to have a future.
So autism is exploding.
Yes.
Government's programs and whatever it is, the Autism Society or whatever the charity that starts up to deal with that, they're scrambling. So you with Enterprise for Good, being a social enterprise, doing something good, but using business practices.
Yes.
Enterprise for Good. The difference is what? Is it this idea that because you're running it like a business and you're generating revenues and you're using effective things, processes that have worked in your business, your business background, that it becomes more sustainable? Is that the key?
Well, yes. You've got about 10 questions in there. So let's kind of look at it from a larger perspective. A social enterprise is neither a nonprofit, it's neither a for-profit. It is something unto itself. It's a different cat. And so when we look at problems, we look at them in a different way. So and that way is let's say from a nonprofit's perspective, we would say, okay, how can we address this problem and actually try to solve it in a financially self-sustaining way? If we look at it from a for-profit perspective, we might say, how can we put more mission, more public good in the business processes of a for-profit entity? So when we think of autism, we would say, okay, how can we provide service in a financially self-sustaining way rather than pressing, as you say, for our foreheads to carpet and begging for money, which all it means is that we have to beg for more next year. And all that means is that we have to expend a lot of our energy on finding that money and begging for it.
Fundraising.
Fundraising, exactly. So we create business activity around the service itself, plus other kinds of business activity that supports that service in such a way that I can look somebody in the eye and say, your service is guaranteed, given normal market forces and risks, forever.
So give me an example of how you do that.
Well, I'll give you a few. First is that we've taken our intellectual property around autism, where we now have a world-renowned reputation in the sphere, and we charge fees to provide that service. And those fees are sometimes paid by the parents, sometimes it's paid by an insurance company, sometimes it's paid by a government or someone else. And there's a value proposition there that attracts business to us, and so basically we can provide that service forever as long as we have the proper human resources. Then we have other businesses, like we're in the real estate business, we're in the commercial real estate business, and in offices and apartment buildings and things like that. We're soon to be getting into the seniors housing that generates revenue.
But when you say you're in the real estate business, you're literally nothing to do with autism, nothing to do with the social good. You're acquiring buildings, renting them out, and generating revenue. But you're using your charitable status for the down payment. That's creative thinking.
Yeah, well, we do that. But I'll tell you that in our apartment buildings, all our resident managers have a special need. 2 of them have autism. Our property manager is a lady in a power chair. She's a C3-4 quadriplegic. So we could. That's one of the aspects of social enterprise, is to bury your mission in the actual cost of goods sold and margin of a business. So it's, if you just are having a business and extracting profits to fund some program, in my mind, that's just a funky new way of fundraising.
Got it.
What we want to do is to actually imbue our mission into the operation, so that instead of working on 5 or 6% of total revenue in terms of profit, we're working with 100% of revenues.
Adrian Bohach from Enterprise for Good. We're delving into this whole concept of social enterprise, which might be new to you. When we come back, we are going to touch on the 3 things that nonprofits are addicted to. Stay with us.